Hey, welcome to Politics and Wellness. I am your host, Captivating Christian, and today you guys will be my co-host as usual, dropping the link so anybody who chooses to come up can come up. And let's get a conversation started. All right, so mainly I deal in politics, so we'll just talk about that. We'll dibble and dabble in a little health and wellness and all that stuff because that's always important. Um, Boy, where do we start? Hey, what's up, The Wiley Show? How you doing? Thank you for coming. Let's talk about what's going on in the state of affairs as our nation is concerned. All right, so the election has officially started shortly after the Democratic convention and the Republican convention starts the actual election race to the White House. And Donald Trump, in straight Donald Trump fashion, is pulling out all the stops to ensure that he becomes, the way he's acting, president of the United States for the first time. But surprise to the rest of us, all this has happened under his watch. Excuse me. I had a granola bar earlier, so it was like in my teeth. All this stuff has happened under his watch. So I am confused. Hey, Patty Duke, welcome. Please help me understand how none of this that has happened correlates to under his presidency. I really find it really hard to believe that there's even a conversation being had, whether it be among skin folk or kinfolk, that him being president for another 4 years is an option. He cannot handle the job. I really wouldn't care who else was running up against him. They would have a better chance of running this country than him. He is not suitable for the job, period. People may like his policies or what have you. They only benefit the super rich. So if you're not super rich, there's nothing you benefit from any of his policies. So then even that argument falls flat. But I notice a lot of people, kind of, I like this policy, I like that policy, but none of them benefit us. So then therefore you're looking like, what exactly do you like? Because there's nothing that he runs on or stands on that has anything to do with bettering the nation or bringing the nation together. It's utterly ridiculous. Hey, what's up, Jess? How you doing? Brother Nate, what's going on? So I don't know. I'm confused. A lot of times I just be like, just sitting back and I'll be in chats or on Twitter and just listening to the people go back and forth. But I'm really confused as into why this is even being discussed. We are fastly approaching 200,000 people dead by COVID. We are at 6 million and climbing infected wise, almost pushing to 7. We are entering the fall season. Dr. Fauci himself had said that if we don't get a grip on this now before winter really hits, the numbers could really be crazy. And that's the part of concern that I have. It's not really even concerning myself with what's going on politically, which is also important, but really that the coronavirus is still here. People are still getting infected. People are still kind of meeting in places larger than the allowed size of people, unmasking. Now, I always make sure I have it, even if it's under my chin, it is always close by. I don't always take a picture with it on my face, but it is always on me. Because, you just never know. You just never know. You don't have to live in fear. Yes. You don't have to, seclude yourself from the rest of the world. Exactly. You should live your life, but just be cautious. I mean, it's just ridiculous that here we have someone who's in charge of all of this and you drop the ball and you can't even say, hey, I dropped the ball. I didn't think it was, even if he came out and said, I didn't think it was true. I thought it was a joke, or I didn't take it seriously, but now I have. Maybe even, some people may even turn around and say, all right, I'll give him a chance. I don't see that happening. But even still, even if that happened, to hold yourself accountable for your own actions is admirable for anyone to say, you know what, I used to be this way. I've changed, but I'm sorry if I affected you in whatever way. This man is incapable of doing that. And as someone who is in charge of this nation, come on, you don't have to be the moral standard of a citizen to be president, but there should be some sort of compass that you have to where in which things that are affecting the nation as a whole, you should be able to say, hey, yeah, I dropped the ball on that. That falls on me. Now let me fix it. It's almost like it's all about his previous predecessor, which I already knew that he was big mad at Obama since that correspondence dinner where Obama dissed him. He was big mad about it. What's his name? Michael Cohen, his former ex-lawyer, is now going around, doing interviews. He's doing an interview with Rachel Maddow in about a couple minutes, about an hour or so, a little less. He also did an interview with Lester Hewitt. If you check that out, yeah, I think that's his last name. Sorry if I botched that. But yeah, if you check that out, he did an interview with him. It was pretty insightful. Stuff we already knew, but a lot of stuff I kind of figured but didn't really know. Yeah, he came into running for president to beat Obama, and not that even Obama was running, but just for the simple fact that Obama made fun of him. And Obama cracked a joke about him, and he happens to be a black man, which further along the lines of Trump is racist. He's just the type of racist that can cover it up. If you have the same type of money he has, he can tolerate you. He can, shake your hand and all that kind of stuff. But would he actually be around you and really take you seriously? No, regardless of the money you have, because at the end of the day, even if you had the same amount of money, you have a different skin color than him. So that's still a bit of an issue for him. So, yeah, we've already known that Trump was racist. And that's why I have a problem with even our people. Like I saw, what is that man's name? It'll come to me. He's a black Republican correspondent. What is his name? But anyway, he was on, his name will come to me, but he was on Reverend Al Sharpton's show, really trying to defend Trump and all of his actions. And I'm just like, it's defenseless. Just say at this point, you're just falling behind in party lines. Please stop trying to defend a man who really degrades you and your people, because you look ridiculous really trying to defend him on issues when he's just come out and said, in so many words, listen, we're not getting rid of white history. And if you try to teach Project 1619, which is an actual program that a lot of schools want to implement, which basically, for those of you who don't know, it teaches history from American history from the time the first slave was brought here in 1619. And it also talks about the atrocities of slavery, what was really done to a lot of slaves, the contributions African Americans and black people, whatever way you want to be categorized, have attributed to America from then on. It does not create this whitewash of history that we are used to, that, this white man created this and this white man created that and this white woman did this and this one did that, and this, to where in which is like, okay, well, what did we contribute? Oh yeah, you were the help, or you assisted, but you never really created anything, which is far from the truth. Now he has gone out and said, well, this is what I'm going to do. I don't know if I don't know if a school in California has said they were actually going to do it, but knowing him, he heard it on Fox News and he ran with it. So his thing is, okay, well, if you implement this kind of curriculum into your schooling, I will hold back your funds. I won't give you educational funds if you promote this new line of history that includes people of color and African Americans or whatever to their contribution to America. There's nothing else you can say. I mean, it's as racist as it comes. I think we've become so tolerant of bigotry and racism to the point where it's just like, it don't really affect me. But at the end of the day, it does. This right now affects us. Here we are in crisis. Here we are not only in crisis, pandemic, or whatever else state that we could possibly be in. You have people facing evictions still. That's not important. You have inadequate health care. That's not important. You have all these things going on. None of that is important, to the point where he puts his foot in his mouth. Then he tries to correct it when it becomes a big thing, to where in which they start to get worried. And I think at this point it's too late. It's like, there's no more we can say, no more we can do. It is what it is. We'll keep it moving. Thanks for the 4 years and keep it going. I really don't know what else we could do with this last one with the military, about people who served and died are losers or weak. I mean, come on, that's the lowest of the low, coming from someone who dodged it numerous times and then faked bone spurs so he could get out of it. Again, what more could you say? We need to stop this, I'm just voting party. It really doesn't matter. I'll just hold my nose. When people are dying in the streets, when he's calling for more police, more brutality into cities in which we reside, this is an attack on us, period. At this point, this is an attack on us. And whether you are a person who happens to be black or not, if you agree with the fact that there's been oppression and police brutality and stuff, then you are also them. So we have to be mindful that we live in a nation that has been built on this. Like, he didn't come out of the woodworks and pop up out of nowhere and everybody like, well, where did he come from? He's always been here. He's always been here. That mentality has always been there. It's just sat dormant for a while. And yeah, I myself thought, Obama would be great. And maybe it would be showing that, hey, we're moving in a different direction, that this country is finally, starting to atone or wanting to atone for its atrocities that it's caused millions of people. And then we fall back because a lot of people weren't interested in voting for a woman. Now, granted, yeah, her husband's, signed into law a crime bill that affected a lot of inner city families and so on and so forth. But he was not the only one to, he signed it off because it went to his desk, but he wasn't the only politician that okayed that. And at that time, there was a difference. There was an uptick in criminal activities and other things, a whole nature of things that a lot of people didn't really pay attention to. Al Sharpton himself, he was a big promoter of the crime bill. He was even against rap music altogether, the Tupacs and the Biggie Smalls. He would hold little town hall things, and they would actually buy a bunch of CDs and break them in the streets. So there was a time in history at that time that they felt that they were doing a just thing for whatever reason. It doesn't justify it, but we all don't know how things play out till later. Like, we think about things instantly in the moment, and then it's like, okay, well, the long-term effects of that kind of, let's put a handle on this uprising crime affected people beyond means. All right, so now you figure, how can I atone for that? How can I fix that? And that's where we have to kind of get out of our feelings a little bit and let the person actually fix what they've done. And I say that to even bring attention to Joe Biden and Anita Hill, right? So during the I can't think of the man's name. Thomas, during Clarence Thomas's confirmation, he had a bit of a scandal with Anita Hill saying that he was sexually inappropriate to her. And at the time, Joe Biden was head of the Judiciary Committee, the Senate Judiciary Committee. And he wasn't as compassionate as he should have been. He more took the side of Clarence Thomas. He really, he let Anita Hill say her side, but he was very much kind of mind made up. And again, we have to think about the time and era in which all this took place. We cannot sit here with Me Too movement eyes, right, and look at that situation in those same glasses, because the times were different. And again, it's sad to say, but they were different. They were driven by a whole kind of concept of, the men in power had power, and they did do certain things to where in which women felt uncomfortable, and a lot of women just kind of chucked it up and felt, I don't want to lose my job. I've come this far. I've done all this education. I'm here in this place, and I'll ignore it. I'll, move someplace else and go into another program. But I gotta do this. I gotta see this through. So, and again, I say all that because Anita Hill and Joe Biden, Anita Hill has said that she will, vote for Joe Biden. And instantly I was like, what? Say what? No. But now, whether or not she was paid or if there's some deal on the table, I don't know. But I would not be surprised if there is one. If he does become elected and she is secretary of something, I would not be surprised. However, it does show that there's growth and people can be willing to, apologize and say, I'm sorry, and say, I did not know that what I did at that moment would be so profound that it would have a great effect on you. I think it's very important that we, and getting into the little bit of a mental health wellness thing, which I don't do often, but bear with me, that we grow, and we grow in all aspects. It's okay to be wronged and apologize for wronging someone. And then if they don't ever want to speak to you again, that's cool too. But it's like a must. You cannot grow and move further on in life without that. It's like it's a give and take. If you do things to people, you have to make sure that you definitely atone for those things and you apologize and say, hey man, I'm sorry that happened. I'm sorry that what I did affected you. I may have been in a space where in which I don't even know what I was doing, or I didn't even think what I said, was that offensive? But I've learned now that those things are offensive and that I offended you. And for that, I apologize. And just keep it moving. Again, you don't have to have a kumbaya moment. You don't have to, hug and hold hands and start crying and all that kind of stuff. But it is definitely important that we push for forgiveness. It is just something that you must do in order to move forward. And it's not for them, it's for you. So I don't see nothing wrong with that. It's even like with him picking Harris. I already knew he was going to pick Harris. It was either going to be Harris. I think it was going to be Harris all along, but Harris or Warren, maybe. So it was like a toss-up between the two. But I know that because she called him out on a program that he was a part of initiating, that in his eyes, he looked at it as, you know what? That's somebody that if I did something wrong, or if she did not feel like the direction I was going was appropriate, she would say, hey, you know what? I don't think you should do that. Maybe we should try a different alternative. And for that may have been it for him to say, you know what? Yeah, she's the type of person that I would want on my team, just for the simple fact that if I say, hey, what do you think about this idea? Now, I think the premise of it is right, but we could tweak it a little bit and make it better. And with all these laws, that's all they are. They're there, and then you can come in and make it better. So nothing is perfect. And we try to, make all these things out to be like, oh, they're so perfect. And why don't they work well? Because they're not perfect. They have to be tweaked, but you have to give the people time to tweak them. Now, this man and all these people that ride his coattails, I cannot, no way, no how. I wouldn't give them any time to do anything else. You've done enough. You've shown enough. There's no more you can show me. And that's from Mitch McConnell on down. There's nothing else you can show me that would have me think otherwise, that you care anything else but about your bottom dollar and what goes into your pocket. Because the people you could give two craps about. And that's painfully obvious. While we're even having a discussion about people receiving unemployment when they can't even go back to work. And even their workplaces are not equipped to handle them to come back to work in a clean environment. And that's children as well. But yet we're pushing so hard to get children back in school. At what risk? You did that with the college students, and now you got to turn around and have all these college kids go back because hundreds upon hundreds of them are testing positive for COVID. Don't you think they're going to go home to their parents or whomever? Like, I mean, I'm not fully understanding this at all. Like, it makes me like I'm confused. You want to open schools to have the kids go back to school. And some people have pushed for it and, all for it. But however, we've already seen all of the colleges have now slowly but surely, once they opened and took their kids' money, they turned around and go, oh, well, you know what? Yeah, we're going to do remote learning. And some students have gotten kicked out and expelled because they did not abide to the new rules that they have, because basically they make you sign these contracts that, hey, they're not responsible if you catch COVID. You can't sue the school. It doesn't matter. So if you happen to venture off campus, which you're not supposed to because of COVID, if you happen to do that and you contract COVID, that's all on you. We're still going to take your money though, but bye-bye. So yeah, it's just really, it's really sad. It's really sad that money is the bottom line to everything and nothing else matters. And yet people are dying by the thousands every day upon hours, and we are still concerned more about money than about the actual people. Now, this I expect from someone like Donald Trump. I don't expect that from people who have been career-long politicians. And this one man comes in, and then all of a sudden, you totally flip the script. Like, that part is confusing to me. That part is confusing to me. And for the people in Maryland who live in Elijah Cummings' district, please continue to vote for Kwasi Mfume to remain in Elijah Cummings' seat. Do not allow that woman, although she may be talented and gifted, and she happens to be a black woman, but she's the same black woman that when he said disparaging remarks about Baltimore the first time, she was totally against it. And for that, I was like, oh, okay, cool. She can stand on her own. She can even be a Republican and not, drink the Kool-Aid. But now all of a sudden, I don't know, somebody threw some money in her pocket, some Russians whispered in her ear, I don't know, whatever, but she's back on the Trump train, even though he sits there and talks disparaging remarks about Baltimore even still. So it's okay to be a Republican. It's okay to be a Democrat. Just have a moral compass here. When people are dying in the streets unarmed, and yet white folks can walk around booty butt naked, just killed 2 people, but running around, and the cops are running from them, and nobody gets shot, and they get to go home or go to jail and then go home to their loved ones and not be a problem. Something's wrong here. I just read a story recently about a young 13-year-old in, don't quote me, but I know it's somewhere like in Portland or somewhere over in the upper west. I think it was Portland. But a mother called the police for help for her son. Her son's autistic, and she needed help with him. They showed up and shot the kid. He's 14 years old. He got shot like 8 times, but he happens to be a white kid. And then, they sit there and say, oh, Black Lives Matter is not going to talk about that. You see, Black Lives Matter is not going to. It's not that. Sometimes the media doesn't even talk about it because it doesn't fit the narrative of what they're trying to push. The police, period. And not all police, but the system itself is flawed and it needs to be fixed. There are people who are not trained to handle situations with people with mental health issues. They are just there to just go in and like they're in a war zone. And that's the problem when you have a lot of war-minded people working as police officers, because they get first pick. They come from war or Afghanistan or whatever. They fill it out. Cool, because they already have the gun training. They already have a lot of the stuff that police look for. So they instantly kind of give them the green light. But that is a problem when you're dealing with that life of being in the military and doing tours than actually dealing on this side with just people of an array of things. It's crazy. Yeah, look that story up. It's really crazy. It's getting to a point where it's been out of control. It's been out of control when the white woman claims she went into the wrong apartment, that everybody seems now to like brush over because the family was so forgiving and wanted to hug her and felt like, oh, it was a mistake. But how many times do we have to keep forgiving, turning the other cheek, saying, oh, it's all right. It's all right that, we have to be subject to this. And then nobody says anything about it because it doesn't affect them. So they quick to say everything is a rebuttal. You say Black Lives Matter, well, all lives matter. We know that. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. But if we're not seeing unarmed Black men being snuffed out right in front of our faces with this new choking procedure now they're going to get you on the ground face down and just put their entire body weight on you to the point where the pressure from the pavement against your lungs, and their own body weight would basically just snuff you out. I mean, and then all we're going to talk about is, oh, well, they just need better training. No, we need to get better people. They don't need any more training because the training is already embedded. That's something you cannot out-train. You can't overtrain that. That's embedded. That prejudice, that bias, that all of that anger and hatred, that's embedded. And it don't take much. It can take one situation. It can take one situation to make someone totally flip. Like, okay, now every time I see a person like that, I'm going to think back to that moment, and then we're going to have a situation. This has been too much. We're already, what is it, 100 and something days since Breonna Taylor? Almost 200 days, and nobody has been brought up for a charge yet. But yet we're still trying to figure out a way to justify you going in there and killing her by saying, well, the ex-boyfriend was dibbling and dabbling in this, and we looked up the connection. That's how we got her address. But it still doesn't justify you coming in there in wee hours of the morning with a no-knock warrant, kicking down her door, not even announcing yourself, to kick down her door, and then you thought what? You were just going to go in there and do what? When it's been reported that that they knew she wasn't a threat. So the fact that you went in there ready, guns ablazing, and you knew that woman wasn't a threat already shows that you had something in mind to do. You was going there to do something. You wasn't going to sit there and talk to her and find out what information you needed to find out about this particular suspect. It's too much. It's like so much. And I apologize to anybody that was looking for my show this afternoon, but I was just like, I needed a minute, like, because my news feed, it's like nonstop, and I just feel like at this point, when we, even content creators, go back and forth and talk about this election and, well, this approaching election, and we really nitpick at certain things like, oh, well, look at Harris's record as an attorney general. Look at it. Look at it. Like, really, really look at it. Don't look at it from what you've heard. Really look at it. Look at the cases. Look at the people. And then have a conversation about who or what could this have been done differently? Could that have been done differently? Then have that conversation. But please don't have that conversation talking about the one case when she saved a few people from getting the death row penalty. She saved a few Black people from getting death row. And some, plenty of big name Democrats wanted her to send them people straight to death row. And they kind of, blackballed her for 10 years because she didn't follow suit. So she has done quite a few things. Now, could she do more? Yes, everybody could. But what we definitely need to stop doing is we need to stop holding Black people hell more accountable than we hold the actual white people with power. Because what you need to start doing, you need to start holding the white people that actually have the power with just as much scrutiny and going through the thin red lines that you do when you do it for people of color. It's crazy. We get it enough. We get it enough from them. We do it hell to ourselves. It's crazy. It really is crazy. Like, what more? And then we try to sit here and talk about somebody not being Black enough. What is that? What is that? Because at the end of the day, she is Black. Whether she wants to admit it or not, she's Black to the eyes of, in their eyes, what they consider to be black, she's black. So I'm confused. I really am. Like, I really just don't. This back and forth, it's like it doesn't even serve a purpose. How about we just start like, hey, are you registered to vote? Here's a link you can go to get registered. Have you done your census? Here's the you should go get your census. And here's Biden's platform. Here's Trump's platform. You pick. All this like going back and forth to, well, she did this and Biden did this and this one did that and that one did this. All right, but look what Trump's doing right now. Right now. And if you can afford 4 more years of just this, what we're doing right now, God bless you. God bless you. I can't see how. I can't see how. Everybody who is connected to Trump in some way that covered up for him or did not decide to, I'm gonna just hold down. I'm not gonna tell him what happened. I'm gonna lie at any aspect in life. Everyone who's done that they've now been released out of jail due to COVID, right? Now that was supposed to go rampant through all the prisons for all prisoners. They were trying to work out a system where in which they would do like a home confinement or some mess. Once those people were released, they changed the actual how they were going by picking prisoners to have them released. So this is all about making sure the people he's connected to that have covered up for him get out, get away, don't have to deal with the consequences while people still sitting in jail, and granted that woman that Kim Kardashian promoted and she wound up getting her papers. God bless the woman, but come on, let's be very clear. That was just what it was, a photo op. Hey, look what I did, black people. I let one of your people out of jail. Now, if you think that's all it takes and that your worth is just enough, that's it, I'll wait, because that's ridiculous. That's purely ridiculous. I mean, the only people that seem to have it right now that actually get it on that spectrum is a lot of these unions who are saying right now, hey, if y'all don't start paying attention to this that's going on right now, we're going to start the strike. Now, granted, I get it. A lot of people like, well, Black Lives Matter is the organization, but it brings attention. I don't really even care at this point. We can worry about the semantics of who's running Black Lives Matter, what they're actually doing with what funds, who, when, where, why. But it brings attention to something that is really happening right now in real time. Right, and exactly. They're all dirty. Like everybody's hands is dirty in some way or form. They are. Period. We need to understand that and then figure out, okay, well, how do we clean hands here? How do we clean hands? We clean hands by holding people accountable, not just giving them a vote and then letting them do whatever and going about our business, but making sure that when I give you my vote, I'm expecting you to do this. And then I'm going to follow through with my expectation that the next 2 years, when there's a midterm, I'm going to vote again to make sure that you continue to do what you need to do. Now, in those 4 years, if nothing has been done, then you need to be canceled too. And we need to find somebody else. But we need to stop doing this, kind of, we're nitpicking at this one while this one over here is doing absolutely nothing. Their campaign had like $1 billion that are practically gone. And you're like, how do you spend $1 billion when you have the whole United States, whatever, at your whim? Like, what campaign spends $1 billion when you have everything? He doesn't really need he doesn't need media. Why does he really need media? Because anytime he goes on, what happens? Anything you're watching stops. At least for the first 10, 20 minutes until he starts talking utter bullshit. Then, certain channels might just flip him, but anything stops. So he don't really need to put ads out. So we spent money on ads. No, they're taking the money that he's asking from people, regular people, to support him. And we don't want those people, Section 8. We all know what Section 8 means for those people in your suburbs. All that kind of a roundabout talk, because I'm not going to really say black people, but I'm saying black people. Or I'm not going to say, oh, yeah, vote twice, because if I lose, then it's rigged. Come on, let's not play games here. And I think this is where we are. We get to the point where everybody wants to kind of play a game. It's too important to play. This is way too important to play. Like, people are dying. People are just, it's crazy. People have no jobs. People are out here just thinking everything's okay. And really, stuff is falling apart. It really is. You try to do stuff to kind of keep your morale going and not think about it. But at the end of the day, it's going down in a handbasket. And it's like the only thing we can sit here and talk about is, well, this one is doing this, but I like Trump for, say, for instance, I like Trump for his taxes. What tax credit did you get? I'll wait. Because unless you're part of the 1% or a little less than that, you ain't really get nothing. And all that you're going to have to pay back. So, I mean, he's not doing anything. He's reversing everything. Sooner or later, we won't be able to even drink our own drinking waters. So you think that spring water you get from your local grocery stores and stuff like that, you think that'll be safe enough to drink after a while? No, because he's allowed the coal miners to pour their chemicals back into the water. He's allowed the chemical plants to pour their stuff back into the water. And who this affects the most in those chemical plants, especially in the South? People of color, because that's where their plants are. The pig plants, the meat plants, they're all in places of color. They're close by neighborhoods of color. Why? I can't tell you. But I know they're there. Yeah, and people are being evicted in the middle of a pandemic. And this tax credit thing, please, speaking of the tax credit, do not believe the hype, please. What I need you to do is please do not participate in that tax credit. Because what will happen is come next year, if you do participate, come next year, when you think, all right, cool, we may be a little bit out of water and coming back to some sort of normalcy, which, again, Dr. Anthony Fauci said we won't be back to normal for a while, so get used to it. Next year, when you think, okay, cool, I'm working a little more steady now, whatever, cool, bang. No, because your paycheck is going to be thin. You might wind up getting another job to supplement until that debt will be paid off from your payroll tax, because that's something you're going to have to pay back, you and your employer, and you're going to have to pay it back by April 14th. So it has to be paid back by April 14th. So, and again, that all depends on how much how much they take out of your payroll tax. But, if it's a significant amount of money for however many months it is or weeks it is, look to be paying that back. So if you don't have to opt in it to get that extra whatever amount of dollars it is, I would suggest you leave it alone. I would just honestly suggest that. That would be my suggestion. Hey to everybody who just who popped in the chat some time ago. Sorry, I was just rambling. Super D49, welcome. Lynn T, how you doing? Nice to see you. Hey, what's up, Antonio Dixon? What's going on, sir? Sorry, it froze a little bit. Hey, Tanari. Hey, how you doing? Nice to see ya. I think that's everybody. Hey, Mr. Smart Show, I think I said to you. Hey, Miss Hawkins, what's going on? Yeah, I think that's it. But yeah, it's just too much. Like, I really don't. What happens when they're out of money? I don't know. Good question. What happens when they're out of money? I don't know. They just think they're gonna print up some more, because soon enough we may be. Do you know Social Security is going? Well, I mean, they might. Well, yeah, of course, Social Security is going to get their money back because they're going to charge you back for it. But it's just really it's really crazy. But I think he wants to get rid of the payroll tax anyway altogether. This was just a prerequisite. Like, okay, we're about to get rid of it, so or privatize it completely to where in which they get more money. Because again, this is all about making money. This is not even about caring about the people. I mean, we can go back to like I said earlier about the military thing. He didn't want to go to a cemetery dedicated to American soldiers that died during World War II, that the French buried them and created a whole cemetery around their sacrifice because his hair was going to get wet. I mean, and people made fun of Obama for walking out in the rain, having an umbrella, but holding his umbrella not for himself, but for Valerie Jarrett and another White House worker, so they would not get wet in the rain. And he just walked in, and got wet because it wasn't a concern. But that shows character. This person, I mean, it's just like, okay, so are we saying that America is just a showboatness, rude, brash nation where we don't give a dang about anything, anyone, everybody's for themselves? I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that, truly. I know that they're out there. I know that they're out there, but just like they're out there, we need to show that we're out here too. And we're not going to take this just sitting down. We're not going to take this sitting down. We're not going to take this just marching. We're not going to take this just laying out in the street and singing Kumbaya. No, we're going to take this however we need to. If we need to go vote, we're going to go vote. If we need to go speak to council people and rectify that, we go do that. Anywhere we need to go to show them just as much power you think you have with these small militia groups showing up with their guns to try and scare people and all that kind of stuff. All right, cool. We got something for you too. And I think people who are licensed and you have a license to carry, you should start going around to these protests and things and asking to protect the people who are doing these protests. Hey, we need to start making this thing work. They want to use it against us. Let's make it work for us. Need to make it work. Need to make the system work for us. And I think even as far as when they do have marches, you need to have a registered list. So everybody who signed up for the marches and for the organizational things, so we can kind of weed out these undercover police officers hiding in these marches who are defaming things and breaking up shit and then talking about look what Black Lives Matter did, when we know it hasn't been us. So I think a lot needs to be done, but we need to be the ones to do the work too. I'm looking for a citizenship somewhere else for real, because another 4 years of this is simply stupid. Yeah, and that too. I mean, hey, if you got a passport and it is free and clear, hey, look into it. Look into it. There's a place in Georgia, Freedom, Georgia. They what was it, 14 families or 19 families bought 96.70 something acres of land to create like a safe space for Black people to go to and not have to be feel threatened or all that kind of stuff. But I mean, it's a great idea. It's even great. But I just think of places in the past that have, had that kind of thing. And it just takes, just takes a couple of knuckleheads who are jealous to do something. And then, we're looking at something else all over again. I hope not. But, you still got to be mindful that there are people out here like that. So. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a whole nother story, too, because some of the Indian reservations don't want us. And that's crazy, too. Right. I know. They've been, and that's a whole nother thing. They've been doing that, talking about that my stuff has been flagged because it's underage. And I'm like, first of all, nothing on my channel is for children. I've always checked that box. It is always checked. So I don't know what you're talking about. But I do know what you're talking about. You're talking about anything that has to deal with me talking about what's going on today involving set president, police brutality, all that they have a problem with. And I guess so have a problem. So if it say you got to click it to make sure it's that you're 18 and older, click it. I mean, I don't really get no money from this anyway. I do it because I want to do it. Because I think we need a space to where in which we can actually show that we are, we don't just roast and gag and drag each other and make fun of each other. We actually come together and talk about real issues that affect us. And we can still laugh and joke and make fun of, but we can really come together and have a real discussion. So, yeah. Plus, you guys are cool, and I enjoy interacting with you guys. So it's all worth it. Whether it was $2 or $10, whether it was $2, 2 people or 10 people, it's all good to me. We all go away feeling better. I get to let some stuff off my chest and woosah a little bit because, sometimes it does get a bit much. It does get a bit much. Don't tell too many people about what? Oh, thank you. I love you too, Lynn. You said don't tell too many people about what, Antonio? I missed it. Yeah, but that's what I was thinking. Oh, you talking about Georgia? Yeah, I'm thinking too. Like Georgia could be wind up being a target for them people. That's why I was just like, it sounds like a great idea, but I'm just too with the history of these people and knowing how they act when stuff starts to really grow and they feel out of place, like somebody that they deserve something because they've been given something. It's just like with this, with the whole telling them to put a mask on. You would swear out somebody was really saying, you don't have any rights. But it's just the simple fact that they've walked around this entire nation for so long thinking that everything belongs to them and that no one beneath them could ever tell them to do anything because my forefathers created this place. That telling them to wear a mask is like telling them to pick cotton or something. I mean, it's ridiculous. And it's like, well, the mask is really to protect you. So why would you not want to put it on? You can't tell me what to do. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying you should want to. The fact that you don't want to is crazy. It's really crazy. The fact that you don't want to is crazy. You should want to. Like I wouldn't care about the next person. I'm making sure I'm safe. I don't care if you don't want to wear a mask. You don't have to. That's your business. I will if I'm walking into a store, especially when I don't know, there's no confirmed anything about how it's contracted, how you can catch it, how you cannot catch it. They're just throwing theories out there. And whatever has been working, kind of sticking, kind of works. That's all this is. They are no quicker to finding out what it is completely and actually how it's contracted to anywhere closer to finding a cure for it. You let them believe you if you want to, talking about something they'll have a cure by before the election. Yeah, it'd be some bleach. I wouldn't do it. I would not do it. You already talked about putting some, I think there's something about some bleach. Maybe we can look into injection of some sort of cleaner. Yeah. Go ahead. You might not want to do that. But I dropped the link, so just in case somebody wanted to pop up and share any thoughts, concerns, comments. I don't have my speaker, so I can't really do the phone thing. So this is your best bet. And there's a mosquito. What's this? How many people? Right, that's what I want to know. I really want to know that too. And they're never gonna. And that's a whole nother thing. There's no transparency with this guy. It's like it has to literally be leaked in order for people to say, you know what? No, that's not true. This is actually what happened. None of this is going to be straightforward. This is what happened. Everything comes later. Like DeJoy, prime example. He went before Congress, said, no, I never had a discussion with anybody in the Trump administration regarding the election, right? Bam, dropped today. In fact, he did have a discussion about the election. What are we saying? What are we saying? All we're doing right now is just showing them that when you're white, you're right, and that's just what it is. Regardless of what it is, you get away with whatever. You get to steal, and it's okay. You get to rob, and it's okay. You get to murder people in cold blood, and you say, oh, well, it's okay because they were criminals anyway. Everything is okay. And of course, white nationalists are throwing money in this campaign because you're promoting exactly what you want them to do, what they want you to do. Of course, because you agree with it too, but you're promoting it. So, of course, they're going to throw all their money in. And, we can't be fooled. There are a lot of secret people in the Democratic Party too that funnel their money into that too, because in actuality, they believe it too. Let's not forget, the Democratic Party was once, part of the whole, they were slave owners. They were this, they were that. So a lot of people still kind of carry that, those Southern Dixiecrats who were, Democrats in Southern. So, we're not blind to it, not blind at all. But we know it exists. They're not just in the Republican Party, but that's why you need to get in there first before you can, kind of sweep around and find out, okay, yeah, this person, yeah, you need to go. This one needs to go. A lot of them need to go. No way. I mean, they're like 80-something years old. Let somebody else. There should be term limits on Congress. There should be. It's not be in Congress 50 years and you've only pushed through 5 or 10 pieces of legislation in 50 years. Get the hell out of here. Hey, what's going on, sir? 5 or 10 pieces of legislation in 50
Oops, sorry, hold on.
Get the hell out of here.
I always do that. I'm sorry.
No, you fine. What's up?
Nothing much. Just wanted to chime in because I was talking in there in the chat about the place in Georgia that you had mentioned, and I was like, yeah, don't tell too many people because I can't see who said it because I don't have the chat thing on my screen. But don't tell too many people. It might be a target. Like she said,
right. And that's the thing that is a bit problematic, but it's nice to even have a space. You know what I'm saying? Like where you could just go to be like, but we know the history of those people to where in which we've had spaces, and then you felt like, oh, see, y'all getting too good. Then now this is what we're gonna do, and it's sad and unfortunate. But this is a different time. We're in a different space, so it may not,
But even then, they already know how we are. Let's just say that all people of color got together and we bought out Georgia as a whole. Let's just say we did it. You know how many people would flock to Georgia, and they would be pissed because it wouldn't just stop at Georgia. We would go on to buying other areas surrounding Georgia. And at that point, we're now a threat because your forefathers that beat the hell out of us just to get this land, they're now about to lose their land and they're going to be upset. So
well, I mean, they're losing their land now for a fence. So I mean, He's putting the fence up, and he's talking about domain. So people, and they're upset about that. They're highly upset because they weren't expecting that. They was talking about build that wall, meaning build that fence. And it was build that fence. Come to find out, oh yeah, but that fence, yeah, they're gonna take your land for that fence. They're taking your house for part of that fence too. Now it's a whole different story. Like, oh, but wait. So you mean tell me he's just gonna take my land? Yeah, because you gave him permission when you voted. So that's why I say be careful of what you vote for, because it sounds good to me. Oh yeah, keep them over there. Keep them even now when they came out with a poll just today talking about in Florida, they were breaking up the polling by race, and a lot of Hispanics were still gonna vote for Trump. And I'm just like, how? When he's sending some of your family members back home, how could you just sit there and vote for that? I mean, I know how, but
I've known a few Republicans, and honestly, they didn't care who the candidate was. They said that their family was Republican and they were voting Republican. They just did it flat like that, and I'm like, wow.
But even that is crazy that you can see all that is going on in the world, in the nation around you. I ain't even gonna say the world. I ain't even gonna go that far. But in the nation around you, and be okay. Because I tell you one thing, I may be independent in thought and in my voting, but if the Democrats was real off rail and I did not agree with anything that they were doing, why would you get my vote?
You're right.
For what? So that's what when they always talk about, oh yeah, those Democrats and especially black people, they're on the plantation. Who's really on the plantation here? Because the numbers, as Lil Wayne says, numbers don't lie, and they're not. I don't care how much you don't want to tell the numbers, but the numbers are not lying.
Yeah.
You think 6 million is a lot infected? Now remember when it was 1 million, we was only at a little more than 1%. It's climbing every day.
And it's gone up that bad in like what, 3 months, 2 or 3 months?
Hey, the man talking about the scientist is talking about, hey, if we don't get a handle on this before winter comes, I'm telling you now, those numbers on both sides are gonna be so crazy.
Yeah.
I already know it's gonna be ridiculous, but you don't want to believe it till you see it. Then you sitting there telling yourself, oh shoot, we messed up. Don't oh shoot then. Oh shoot now and do something about it. Don't wait till after November 3rd or whenever it is to do it.
Man, I got so much damn anxiety about that. I'm just
the more I think about it, I get anxious. The more I think about this mail-in crap where he's literally telling people to do illegal stuff. And that's the part that kills me. You're literally telling people to vote twice. That is illegal. And then you say, well, I'm not saying vote twice. I'm just saying that if you don't know if your vote went through, you go to the polling place and ask them. If not, then vote again. It's illegal. If they sent the ballot in, you cannot vote again. It's illegal. But you're not going to round up. You're going to tell people, oh, yeah, if you do it, it's okay. I'll save you. Try it.
He can't. And no.
He's not. Even if he could, he's not. He's not. He's not. He'll save the people that put the most money in his campaign, like he's done, and put them in positions of power to be able to take mailboxes out of inner city areas, okay? Because you already knew, well, people are not going to vote in line because of this pandemic. All right, let's start pulling up these mailboxes.
Now that I think about it, I gotta take that day off. I keep saying I'm gonna do it. I gotta put in for it tomorrow because I will be there all day with icy pops and waters. I'll be out there.
But it's crazy how people just really don't take into account how serious this and how difficult this election will be. We thought, 2020 Bush Gore was something, like 2020, you hear me? 2000 was something with the whole dimple chads and you looking to see like, oh no, that hole was punched in all the way. That counts as a full vote. That's not punched in all the way. That's not a full vote. We got to throw that out. You thought that was something? Wait till this hits, because you won't have enough postal workers to move it. There's going to be a lot of stuff in warehouses somewhere, some ballots in warehouses. It's going to be a whole mess.
What was that one year? I think it was the Bush Gore year where they found the Florida ballots in the water.
Yeah. In the water, in a storage unit. They found some ballots.
But even in that, you got to wonder, okay, if this many people registered to vote and we only got this many votes, something's missing.
Well, all they would say is that the people just didn't come out and vote. That's it. That's an easy way to get out of that until the votes show up. Now, when the votes show up, then it's like, but until the votes show up, you just be like, oh, well, a lot of people just didn't show up to the polls. Just like when people were sitting there like, Trump won, how did he win? And then the demographic came out that all these white women voted for Trump, and then they was out, the next day trying to be like, oh no, we didn't. Talking about, so no, he don't respect women. No, you voted for him because you didn't, you just, you didn't like Hillary, or you thought a man is best suited for that job. Go and get out of here with that. You cannot really think less of yourself in one aspect and then more of yourself in another and think you can do the same job. Now, either you're equal across the board or you're not. Make up your mind. And I'm not saying it to you women here, but I'm just saying a lot of women think that way, which I think is silly. Like, make up your mind. Either you with it or you're not.
Right. Yeah. It just doesn't make any sense. Like like you said, a lot of women didn't vote. They voted for Trump because they didn't like Hillary. Right. What does that say about your personal views on women? Like that's what I wonder. And then my friend, my friend's friend, mm-hmm. her husband told her to vote Republican, and because of that, she's going to. I'm like, wow, it's that serious?
I mean, at the end of the day, like. Personally, I think even what's her name, Melania, is gonna go behind that booth and vote for behind Trump. How he gonna know?
She is sick of that life. She is so sick of that life.
Sick of him.
Yeah, she's sick of him too.
She's sick of him, but she been sick of him. But she married him because she married him for what she married him for. He had the money, and that's what she married. But she over it now because at this point she leave him. Everybody gonna want to know what her book's about. Everybody gonna want to know something.
Hell, I'm gonna buy it.
What that life is like. No, thank you.
I'm gonna learn whatever language she speak, and read the Cliff Notes. I'm gonna read it.
The only Trump book I purchased was Mary's, and
the niece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was nothing that I didn't already know. Some of the stuff, it was like, oh, yeah, they did y'all dirty. But now I see why you did this book. Because, yeah, I would be hella mad, too, if my father's portion of his father's inheritance, his siblings took.
Oh.
Yeah, I'd be mad too. And I would be holding on to it till a time where I could really do something that would be impactful. Now, I'm going to side eye her and give her the, yeah, I'll wait for your ass because you waited till after he became president when you should have brought the shit out before he became president. Because that would have been more like, all right, sister, I see you. That's right. Get his ass. But afterwards, now it's like, well, he's done such a great job. Well, he's done such a horrible job. Well, what do you knew he was going to do a horrible job because you know what type of person he is. Just like his sister talking to him, oh my God, do you hear him say the disparaging things? He's such a fool. You knew he was a fool, but he helped you get to where you was getting to because you already had the little dirty secret of stealing your niece's money. So you know what I'm saying? Y'all helped each other. So that's what that was. Hey, what's going on?
Honestly, nobody even expected him to win.
No, I mean, he didn't even expect himself to win.
He did. You could tell he did.
But he was driven by Obama joking about him and his hatred for black people. And that black man who happened to be president, which is already a bit disgusting because he even said it himself when he during the Republican convention, during his speech. You saw when I don't know if you saw it, but
no, I didn't see it.
If anybody watched it, he said he was speaking and then he was like, yeah, because you know what's behind me, right? You know what's behind me, right? It happens to be the White House. But that's why he's saying we're going to keep it. We're going to keep this America because you know what's behind me, right? We have to preserve it. It's the White House, him being white. You know, but that's the kind of word language he put without saying, you know, hey, I'm for you too. You know, it's like you'll throw little stuff out there. Right. You'll throw little stuff out there to be like, yeah, it's about race and stuff. So yeah, I just think it's all the things. It's deplorable, is this, is that, but we do have the power to say, hey, nah, that's enough. I'm not doing this. He said it himself. Oh, well, you know, black people didn't turn out. That's how I wind up winning too. And you know, we can sit here and go, no, that's not necessarily true. But in actuality, it is. Because had we really turned out to vote, again, holding Hillary to the fire, if we did vote for her and didn't like her, but just voted for her because you didn't see it for Trump, cool. You can still hold people accountable. You don't have to just vote and then be like, you know what, I'm done with it. That is just crazy to me that people do that. Like you just vote and then whatever happens. How do you do that? How do you leave the fate of your own existence in the hands of somebody else after you vote for them, after you entrust them with your vote?
Right. I get it.
Because you end up with the situation that you're in right now.
Yeah, well, we're just waiting for it to be over and hope it don't continue.
Hoping that somebody comes in with some more sense to be like, okay, we're going to attack this the best way we can. All I need y'all to do right now is for 2 months. Give me 2 months. And you might have to stay inside or be very, very limited, but just give me 2 months and we'll, you know, do like they did in China and other places. They was out there with whole guns and things, spraying the street down and foam over everything. It's like, hey, you got to do something. This one talking about something. Oh, it'll be gone by summer. But we about to be in a double summer pretty soon. We about to be winter. We about to be back in spring again. What you gonna say? It's gonna melt away again? Come on, get out of here. Enough of you. Enough of you. Take your money that you've made, okay, and that you've stolen from these people that voted for you, and go about your business. And watch him flourish again as Trump, the big businessman, because he's gonna have all this money now. He's gonna pay back all the banks that he owes. He gonna have some more Trump properties now because he's gotten all of y'all, you know, he's gotten all this taxpayer money. He can go about his business.
Speaking of which, they still haven't seen his taxes.
And they're not going to till he leaves office.
Didn't they say he filed bankruptcy like every year or something? Like before all of this?
It's 6 times. 6 times. He's filed for bankruptcy 6 times. But again, rich people bankruptcy is different from poor people bankruptcy. We think of bankruptcy like, yeah, how you get to do that 6 times? Because you break your business up. You break it up. So, and then you hide money that they don't see. So, you know, you hide that in something else. That's why he was caught taking charity money and putting it in his pocket, because that's what he was doing. If they're having charity functions, taking the money from the charity, not actually giving it to the charity, and pocketing to keep himself afloat financially and, you know, keep his lifestyle up. And then, you know, y'all just gifted him with the White House. So now he's just ripping it blind. $1 billion, $1 billion in campaign funds, $1 billion.
To go to what? His comb over and his cane?
It's gone. It's gone. And come on, where is it going? Where did it go? You got campaign, the campaign ad, the campaign advisor they just fired. He bought a house. He gave his own company, which was helping the campaign, about a $1 million bonus. He bought 2 houses. Come on, and that's why they fired him, only because he got caught. And that's the thing about him. He will let them do dirt, but he will only fire them if they get caught. But knowing that he's so stupid to realize, duh, dummy, the only reason why they don't come after you, or they can't come, because you are in charge of the Justice Department. And then you got Fred Flintstone's ass over there covering for you every little thing you do. I cannot stand him. I cannot stand Barr. I just can't. I really can't. I cannot stomach him. You're talking about, oh, like as if we making up police brutality. We're making up systematic racism. He's a fucking fool. I'm sorry. He's a fucking fool. I just can't. I'm sorry, guys. He just pissed me off.
One thing on police brutality, what I don't understand is why are because not all cops are bad. I've actually met some really nice cops, and they're like, look, we don't even want to be here. So can you just go on about your business? We go on about ours, and we just go. Cool.
No, but see, I get your point. I get your point in that, and I'm not saying that they're all bad. But what I am saying though is that if you're not saying anything about it, and that goes the same thing,
right? So the good ones, why are they not calling out the bad ones? Because at this point, honestly, that's something they need to deal with, because that's starting to make a negative connotation towards all cops when it's not all of them. It's really not. I've met some nice ones.
Right, I have too, but that's the thing. But that's how corrupt the system is. That the system overall is that corrupt to where in which even good cops get tainted. It's almost like that saying, you are the company you keep.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. If you don't stand up and say something about it and speak out on it because you don't want to be blackballed when you go into the locker room by fellow officers who deal and dabble in the bullshit, then you have a problem. Then you are then allowing that to happen. The same reason why those other officers are in the predicament they are dealing with George Floyd. You allowed that to happen. You didn't stop him. You didn't say, hey man, that's enough. You let it keep going. So therefore, cool. It is what it is. Deal with the consequences. Because it's funny how police officers of color who have wrongfully shot someone, like the Muslim man who shot that white woman, he's in jail. There was no question. You see any white folks out there talking about Blue Lives Matter then? Yeah. I'm still waiting for a Blue Lives Matter person to come out and say, no, I was rooting for, I was pushing him up or hoping he would not get charged for shooting that Australian white woman by accident and killing her, because they weren't.
And another thing, sorry, that I keep kind of bouncing with my random thought. I don't understand why police officers need guns anyway. There's nothing, unless it's because I really think there needs to be like different divisions. The calm division, domestic disputes. Okay, send out a therapist or whatnot. Send out a.
Yeah, but that's exactly what they need. They need, but see, that's my problem. And as I said that earlier, they don't have the adequate training to actually deal with regular civilians. They have the training of war mentality, and topple that with your own ready racist and bias and whatever things you got going on. That's just a thing ready to happen. Because, and I've told this story before, I have a cousin who's an officer in Long Island, and his friend officers that he worked with every day, he'll go into the white neighborhoods and police, but the white neighborhoods that he is in, there are a lot of drug activity and stuff like that, and no other white officers. I don't want to go there. That's disgusting. I don't know how you do that, but they can go into places of color with the same kind of demographic and feel empowered. It's because they don't look like them. So it's like, I can deal with this way. On the other hand, with those white officers, they don't like to see themselves looking like that, because that's not the image that they've been brought up to think that they are. We created this, we did this, yeah, some of us has fell through the cracks, but we're still greater than them. So they would rather police us and enforce all that upon us than deal with their own people. But that's what we need. We need to where in which, for a while, because it was that way even during the civil rights movement, like there were really two sets of cops, two sets of officers, and for a while until we weed out everything and start over, then maybe you need to do that. Maybe you just need to go back there.
Yeah. Like, I don't like, if there's a domestic dispute, nobody with a weapon needs to be there. There's no need for a weapon. Sir, ma'am, calm down. Sir, calm down. Everybody cool? Going back to your house. And then that's going to be it.
Yeah, but you need people that actually are trained to deal in that. And no, I know what you mean. And then if it needs to escalate, then you need to call somebody. That's why they have a SWAT team. That's why they have, all these different there are teams to handle that. Now you got officers thinking that we gonna handle it this way. Like, no. Now I wonder if things are gonna change because they shot up that white boy up in Seattle.
Seattle, yeah.
I wonder if that's gonna change.
We'll see. We'll see how much of a hell they raise. But to what Nate said in the chat, I don't know how to bring it up. He just put it up about that's the one problem about when civilians are allowed to have weapons, right? Mm-hmm. So in situations like that, that's when there's a weapon on the premises. We're backing out, send in other units. I mean, there's ways around that. It's just, it might take more time. But again, we're talking about police officers and people who are trained with bulletproof vests and things. This is what you signed up for. You signed up to be put in these type of situations, and you should know how to act and do appropriately. So, this is my opinion on
it. Somebody asked, different officers for different incidences.
Yes.
Yeah, there should be. There should be different officers for different instances. And then most of the officers should be trained to detect different social things about people, like the officer situation that happened in upstate New York. Why couldn't you have called someone to handle that instead of handling it the way in which you did, and then covered it up and got caught and busted? But of course, that always happens, and then everybody got to save face, because I don't care what nobody says. Ain't no way in the world you're going to tell me that mayor did not know what happened. I believe the mayor knew what happened. I believe the police chief knew what happened. She may not have known everything, but she knew something happened. She knew the person died. Now, she may have, I'll give it a benefit of the doubt, maybe say she didn't know how it actually happened. But even as the mayor, that falls on you, because you should have then asked for all the information in regards to that. So I don't understand that. And then he said he was mischaracterized and all that other kind of mess. Get out of here. You tried to cover it up.
Well, just like Just said, that's what they do. They cover their own. They look out for their own.
Yeah, I know that blue line. That blue line is serious. But again, that blue line is just that serious, the way in which officers who see the wrongdoing don't even speak up about it because they don't want to be blackballed. But when do you get to a point where you say, you know what? Nah, I'm not gonna let you do that. I'd rather be blackballed than to let you, victimize my people. That's all I'm saying. Like, when do we get there?
See, and again, to Nate and Jess, because they're pretty much saying the same thing, that domestic disputes can turn really violent. This is what you signed up for. That's just like saying you're a firefighter and you didn't want to get burned by fire. This is what you signed up for. So these officers and things like that, they're signing up to walk headfirst into these situations. This is what they know. They understand the job. I might get hurt. This is this is a part of the job. Everybody knows this.
Yeah, but the funny thing about that is, though, when they're going head first into something for certain situations and certain groups of people, it is, I'm walking in head first, and this may be violent, but that person looks like me, so I'm gonna handle it like, okay, sir. Oh no, don't chase me. I'm running away from you. Compared to, oh, this person don't look like me. Oh, okay, we ain't even gonna ask no questions. Just pull up and start firing, and then go, oh well, we thought the person had a gun, or oh, the person was. Come on. We can't. This is, it's the same line, same story. It's almost like watching something on repeat over and over and over. How many times you gonna watch it till you start to learn the lines and learn the language and know exactly? Okay, we've done this enough. Tamir Rice, a 13-year-old. How you just pull up and shoot on a little kid?
Yeah, that goes to back to politics, though. As the mayor of a city, when you know stuff like this happens, you need to do something. Like, go ahead. Sorry, I can't hear you.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. But yeah, as the mayor of a city, and you see, okay, these are, whether you're white or black, of course, that does matter. But you get what I'm saying for the sake of the conversation. Mm-hmm. If you see that your cops are out here killing people, you need to start asking questions. Why did somebody die? How many bullets does it take to stop a person? I need to know these questions, and I need to know what the protocol is when you walk up to someone's car. But if you ask them where something is and they have to reach into their glove box for it, and you say they were reaching for something and you shoot them 9 times, you're not stopping them. You're killing them.
You want to know the answer to that?
I already know.
Well, no. The answer to that is the governor is actually higher than the mayor. So therefore, if you do have a Democratic mayor that is like, hey, what's going on? Why is this? Why is that? And if the police chief happens to be more Republican related and that governor is Republican related, that mayor is not going to really get the answers he or she wants. They're going to get whatever the governor says. All right, this is what you give them, and go about your business. Continue to run your city, because I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. And that's the problem. That's what the disconnect is. It is a lot of Republican topped politics over a lot of Democratic cities that are run by, Democratic mayors and so forth, and city councils and stuff. And that's a whole nother thing, with the city councils being run largely by Republicans who don't live in inner cities at all, but be able to tell you, what your city is supposed to look like and where your children can go to school when their children go to private schools, which is crazy. So, yeah. But all right, guys, we've been on this joint for 1 hour and 28 minutes. All right. And I'm usually not on this long. So, but I would just like to say thank you for stopping by. Hey, Auntie Donna, I did see you. I don't want you to think I forgot you. I saw you. Thank you. Kiss Favor, thank you for coming, but I'm definitely about to roll out. So, but you can catch it on the replay. But Nicole Goddess, Lynn T, Brother Nate, Armand Jordan, thank you so much. Queen Diva, I saw you too. Just wanted to say, hey, don't want you to think I forgot it. And for anybody else, please charge it to my mind and not my heart. As always, thank you so much for hanging out with me. And until next time, oh yeah, don't forget, I can't believe I was about to forget. Gentlemen's panel. It always happens in the drink. It's the brown. Gentlemen's panel will be here at Cap Hill on Thursday. That's this Thursday on Cap Hill. Please be here. I have some special guests coming through. He's one of them, but the other one I'm not telling. So yeah. So I have Antonio will be here for the gentlemen's panel, along with my other special guests and the fellas. So we will have a good in-depth conversation and some kooky questions, as always, as I give. So make sure you tune in. That is Thursday at 7:45 here on Cap Hill. See you there, and have a blessed rest of the week, and hope to see you on Thursday.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. God bless and have fun. And I'm out. And I can't find the end button. There you go. Peace.